Arc Warden is a very strong hero in the current patch, and if you want to climb an MR, he's an excellent hero to learn. The following game is taken from my stream where I did a replay analysis of a Crusader level Arc Warden player. If you want to get your replays analyzed, come join my stream. I stream every Monday and Friday at 7 PM CEST. So go to twitch.tv/Jon Gunnarsson and follow me there. And now let's jump into the game. It's like a really good Arc Warden game, except for that PL. Next Lara can also be a bit of a hassle. He's having a good game, but mostly it's the PL that's going to be the problem here. So it looks like you're in the safe lane. Okay. I actually like that. I think in general Arc Warden is better off in mid. But here in this game, if you go mid and they go for Phantom Lance in mid, you're actually in a bit of trouble. Phantom Lance is actually quite good against Arc Warden in lane. So down here, you're probably going to lane against the Slardar with like either Shakira or Ogre, and Arc Warden is quite good in that lane. Yeah, smart. I see your replay. I'm going to get to that after this one. Yeah, safe and insanity is related to the Crusader bracket. I don't think that Arc Warden safety is insane. I think it's perfectly fine. You see that also sometimes in high level play. Like generally is better as a mid laner, but you can definitely play him as a safe laner. That's fine. And I picked it because there's a Slardar off laner in principle. Yeah, he's quite good in lane against Slardar. Later on, Slardar can be a bit of a problem because you can just blink initiate you. But in lane, at least, you're really good against Slardar because you just have the range, and it's not going to be easy for him to actually get on top of you as long as you play it reasonably defensively and you don't get overrun. And with an Undying lane especially, they can't really overrun you, so this is actually a really potent lane combination. Like Undying is like really good with these range heroes that have a lot of DPS but are a bit fragile. What's your favorite pro team, by the way? Are you spectating any pro tournament? I'm not sure. Are there any like big tournaments going on right now? I'm not sure. My favorite team, probably Secret. And other than that, I like OG. I like Alliance. Like Secret is it's just so good at Dota. And I just really like Poppy as a captain. He just has so many interesting ideas about the game, and just the fact that he's been so successful for so long is really cool. Yeah, Omega League is right now. Yeah, I'll check that out. Okay, Ogre. Let's actually rewatch this fight. So, you're just hitting people, which is all you can do. That's a very good, what do you call it, Flux. So you get that Slardar. Slardar can't really run away here because of Flux. And now Ogre Magi is also in trouble. Yeah, I really like the way you play this. Where did that last Spark Wraith come from? Yeah, you put the Spark Wraith in a good position there, and yeah, it was a really well played fight, and it's quite close. Like Undying almost died, but it went really well for you. But now you're out of region, so you need to bring more region. Nikura is currently delivering some clarities and Gloves of Haste and Wraithband. Okay. You're ranged here, so you can kind of get away with clarities, but you're also playing against Ogre, who has a pretty long range Ignite spell, so you can quite easily cancel those clarities. I'm also a bit skeptical of clarities on cores. And even on support, it's a bit dodgy. Why are you not eating tangos? Eat those tangos. There we go. Like, you need to be eating those tangos constantly when you're this low. So you're using your spells quite well. Getting good value here. And how is the last hitting looking? Pretty good. Definitely ahead of that Slardar, and Slardar dodging that Spark Wraith quite nicely. I like the the skill build here with Flux level 3 and Spark Wraith level 2. Flux is a really powerful ability when you get it off. Okay, so you think that it would be better to bring mangoes instead of clarities in this beginning? Yes. Like, I guess if you bring the lane this hard and they can't really contest you, then I guess there is, like, in this situation right now, when the wave is this far forward, it's okay to get clarities, but even so, like, you actually want to still be in front here. You want to get those last hits here. Not sure why you're so timid here. I guess you're a bit afraid because it's night and you don't really see anything. You don't have boots yet, so yeah. Feel like if you play Arc Warden safe, and you gotta make sure your sub doesn't stay too often in your XP range. Yeah, it's definitely a good point. You need a lot of XP as Arc Warden. But like I feel like this. Okay, okay. Now I know why it's not losing experience, because it's disconnected. Okay. Spam the lols in the chat, but yeah, it's definitely a good point. Arc Warden is quite XP hungry. I'm sorry, man. At this level, I was complaining because my Pango was unpausing the game. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's pretty Resident Sleeper Undying. Okay, so you go for the Hand of Midas, which is reasonable. However, if you're playing a Slada, a hero that can run you down, I feel like you need boots, if you're safe lane at least. In mid lane, you can get away with not buying boots early because you have this tower very close to you, so you can always retreat to your tower. But in safe lane, there's a problem with people running you down. Like, if this Ogre match and this Slada just run at you now, I think there's a good chance he actually might die. Because he has boots, he has a sprint, he's so much faster than you, and without even boots, you're moving slow as the Wolf of Ice Rack. So I feel like you need boots here before you can go for the Midas. Like we're winning the lane so far, so it's gone fine. It's not being punished right now, but it definitely could be, and that's like the most likely way for you to lose the lane is just being run down here. So that's why I feel like you need to get those boots ASAP here. So you're still doing well here, just in the last hits, and now you're using the clone here just for some fighting. Actually get the kill here. Wow, didn't expect to get a kill here, but you do. I guess the Sladash is really far behind right now. Okay, noted here. Going to take that into consideration next time. Yeah, exactly. And Arc is pretty slow, 285, just like the Wolves of Ice Rack. And Slada can just do sprint and run at you. I agree. Yeah. It's all very matchup dependent and lane dependent. Honestly, I feel like they did not exploit the Undying being away from lane well enough. I feel like there were like 1 or 2 points in the game where they could have gotten a kill on you probably, but they're sort of playing too timidly, which something often happens in like lower level games when people sort of lane doesn't go well. They just think like, okay, I can't be aggressive here in this lane and just have to play defensively, but it's always all situational. Just because you lose against Arc Warden and Undying doesn't mean that Arc Warden on his own can stand up against you. Arc Warden, when you run at him, is actually quite weak. Whereas like if you're running at him with 2 heroes, Flux doesn't really do anything, and Spark Rays are like nice, but they're not enough to really deter a Slada and Ogre running at you. So here you see clone again, and Jakiro looks pretty dead. So that's gonna be a kill, and Slada can run away. Yeah, so very nice usage here of the clone, and now you should be okay. The clone doesn't really last long enough to do anything else. Maybe you could have like casted one more Wraith, but that's about it. I started playing Arc Warden because most people doesn't know how to play against it. Yeah, definitely. But like, what is the hero supposed to do? You can't just like stay in this creep wave, and he's gonna die anyway. Yeah, probably the best choice for him was to stay in the creep wave and hit back. He was gonna die anyway, but at least he would have done more damage to you. But yeah, he was sort of caught between a rock and a hard place here. Do some pulling here. That's fine. Do not quite get the pull here. So the reason you don't get the pull here is because you need the creeps to actually hit you. Like stand like something like here and have the creeps hit you, and then the entire wave is gonna aggro. Do you have any suggestions to farm faster with him? Well, use your clone often and early, which you're doing here. That's good. And also when you use your clone, you just want to be spamming on the spark rates. Yeah, going for the Midas is great. And then you generally don't want to go straight into Mjolnir, but you want to go into Drum. Drum is a very powerful item on Arc Warden. It's not necessarily a farming tip, it's just generally a very good item on him, both for farming and fighting, because you can just always use those charges on your clone, and that's not going to complete the item. That's not going to deplete the item. So you can always, when you summon your clone, you can always use a drum charge. So yeah, that's pretty strong. Zero, yes, I did check the Thunder thing, and Shivas doesn't work against Thunder. So you still get back the full amount of HP. That was wrong, and yeah. Yeah, but just like farming, I feel like you're not doing this camp enough. Like you're doing this small camp, and like, I think you're definitely strong enough to do a big camp here. Especially since you can just kill those two small bursts, and then you can go and kill that Valving Ripper with your Midas, and then you can go the small camp. Yeah, right now I think it's still fine for you to stick around here in this lane, because the lane has gone really well. You just Midas the small creep? I don't like that. Definitely want to Midas the big creeps at the start. Midas and small creep is good for gold, but the XP is also really important here. And also another farming tip, last hit. Like here in this wave, I think you missed like 1 or 2 last hits because of that. You're just sort of right-clicking here and just hoping to get the last hit, but you're not really properly last hitting this creep here, and you lost that because of that. So like at this stage of the game, level 10, Arc Warden, you not really do enough damage to just rely on being able to get those last hits by chance. Missed another one there. Oh, yeah, we need to work on those last hits. Oh, so many last hits missed there. Oh my god. Okay, so you summon the clone here. I'm not exactly sure why. Like the creeper was already dead anyway, more or less. Could have walked down here and then summon the clone to use the Midas, and yeah. At this stage of the game, I think you should probably leave this area. Yeah, actually, I thought about the gold in the minimum. Yeah, I mean, like later on in the game, once you're like level 25 or something, you can do that. But early on, it's so much more important to get the XP, and also just like you're not farming the screws fast anyway. Because like killing that big bird actually takes a long time. You're just right-clicking him. So a big part of the bonus of Midas is also just like killing one creep instantly. And like here, if you're not gonna be at this camp right away, just use it on one of the lane creeps. You might, so you do that now. So losing a slight amount of efficiency here, but still pretty good. So being on here, we should use your clone aggressively and be defensive with the Arc Warden. I feel like you're walking with both of them together a bit too much. At this stage of the game, I would probably just TP up here to the triangle and test these runes. You have your Pagna here to do this, and you don't want to hang around here in the safe lane past like 10 to 12 minutes. Because this part of the map is no longer safe. There's a lot of ways you can and the team can wrap around on you here. So we're going to go into the mid lane because that's free right now. Probably right here. We can like TP to the mid lane and push with that wave, and then go into triangle. And here you're pushing forward with your clone, which is good, but also backing off because he's being gone on. You don't want to feed it. You have Midas here available. Unfortunately, you don't use it here in time. So you don't want to be here when all the enemy team is here. You're going to be in the mid lane or in the triangle. And now you've gone here. There's 4 heroes here. You can't help them. You're just... Okay, they don't go on you, so that's your good luck. But honestly, they could have gone on you. Could have killed you. Nice. Didn't think on that way about going to the triangle. And like the triangle is the safest part of the map. And Arc Warden is the hero that's very farm intensive. Like, you're very clearly the clear position 1. This is basically a full protect 1 lineup. Your entire team revolves around you getting farm, so you don't want to be on this very unsafe part of the map. This is the hard farm that maybe one of your supports can take. Maybe there's a hero like Pango that's quite slippery, you can take that farm, but you should be taking the safe farm. Yeah, I mean, the lane might be easy peasy, but if a lot of enemy heroes rotate down there, it's not going to be easy peasy for much longer. It doesn't matter how well your lane went, that just means that the enemy offlane is weak. It doesn't mean the entire rest of the team is weak. And this is a part of the map where it's very easy for the enemy team to gank, and also very lucrative for them to gank, because this tower is very important for them to take. So if they can gank you and then take a tower, that's such a valuable rotation for them. Yeah, and this is like a lot of easy farm here in the triangle. You have the Ancients, and then you can swing between the mid lane and the off lane. This is the easiest part of the map to farm, and this is where you generally want to be as the carry. And it's fine. It's also a good move you can do is like be with your hero in the safe part of the map, and then TP with your Arc Warden either to fight or into this bottom lane to push it out. You want to take the unsafe farm with your clone and the safe farm with your main hero. Like, this is so risky. Like, you're gonna get stomped here, and the enemy team sees you here. They see you being quite far forward, and you're close to all this area of no vision. You can see some heroes here, okay, but like farming here is so risky, and it's so easy to kill you. And it's like certain heroes you can do this. If you're like an anti-mage or a Vivo or some sort of slippery hero, you can maybe do this, but Arc Warden is so easy to kill. Even though you're having a really good game, they can still kill you really easily. And right now, Slada coming in here, and you're doing a good job of using those spark rates as sort of early warning signs. So that's good, but still it's a bit risky, and you want to be in the triangle. As said, I think you should go for Drum. That's a really good item. Really efficient item on like almost any hero, and especially on Arc Warden. The thing about Arc Warden that I like a lot is that you can contribute to a fight, but not even being in the fight, if you know what I mean. Yeah, exactly. Your clone can just be in those dangerous fights, and main hero can just be somewhere safe farming. And you know, right now you're not in a very safe spot. They can wrap around you from the side, but it's only an ogre, so and you're not really coordinating really well. So yeah, like you're here with your team, you're sort of fighting. The thing is that your item build is quite greedy. You're going for this Maelstrom, Hyperstone, Hand of Midas. You don't really do very much in fights yet. So really your job should be more fighting than participating in these fights, which are quite risky. So you spawn the clone here, which I like, and you push forward with that. And then your hero can take the rune, but as I said, again, you want to make your way up here. Either TP there or just sort of farm your way there, you know, like, you know, hit this camp, and then this camp, and then maybe this camp, and then you can make your way up to the triangle if you don't want to waste the TP. But yeah, so but other than the drum, this item build is fine. If you want to play it less greedy, you can always also go for treads after the Midas. Of course, it's gonna reduce your scaling potential, because Boost of Travel is very powerful on Arc Warden, but also treads is a very efficient item, and also speeds up your farm, so also something you can consider if you're in a lot of pressure in a game. But here I think it's a right choice to go for Boots of Travel, because your team is doing well and you're not being very pressured. You definitely have the time to go for this very greedy build with the Midas into Mjolnir into Boots of Travel. Man, this discussion about going to the triangle with Arc opened my eyes. Glad that I'm helping. It's always important, just no matter what hero you're playing, to sort of realize, can I take the dangerous farm? Should I take the dangerous farm? and who has to take the safe farm. And Arc Warden definitely here that wants to take the safe farm. I generally do that with Naga and TB, but with Arcs, they can't kill the Ancients, I generally don't go. Yeah, that's a good point. It's more difficult to kill the Ancients, but they can still do it. It's a bit of kiting and it takes a bit more time. And yeah, the thing about Naga is actually can actually take like somewhat more risky farm because she has like more mobility and she has her ultimate as an escape mechanism. So as Naga can actually take decently risky farm, although of course you still want to be careful. So you're holding on to this Vampire Fangs, I'm not quite sure why. I'm sure that our friend the Panga would like that item. Panga should take the Vampire Fangs, and then Pagna can take the what do you call it, the Essence Ring. So this fight going on, you kind of want to defend your mid lane tower, but it's quite low, and actually get deny here on Undying, so that's good. And why are you walking so close here to this Medusa? What are you doing? Yeah, you found it, great. So yeah, let's watch this fight again. Like, what are you doing there? Okay, so you wanna hit the Medusa, that's fine, but like you don't know whether someone is coming in here. There's a Medusa, she's very tanky. And like she's being stunned up here anyway, you don't need to be close to her. You can just like sit here and hit her. I don't understand this. And yeah, you end up feeding here. Also not using your Mjolnir. Indeed, was pretty strange, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. No two ways about that. Okay, so going for this butterfly. Do I like this? I mean, it's good against Phantom Lancer with the evasion. And Medusa can definitely go for an MKB, but it's not like the ideal item on her. Yeah, so I like the way you're pushing up the top lane here with your clone, using your spells. Also spam out some spark rays a bit more. That would be nice, but other than that, it's great. But meanwhile, you're forgetting about your main hero. Yeah, I didn't know where to go next. I'm not necessarily knocking that butterfly. I think considering that you're playing as Phantom Lancer and he's like the main problem here in this game, I actually kind of like that choice. Like you could also go for something like a Hurricane Pike. Help you positioning a bit better when you're being run up by heroes like Slada and Phantom Lancer, but it's probably not going to help you much in the long run. So I'm fine with that choice. So there's a fight going on, and it's something you definitely need to work on. Like you need to be able to control both these at the same time. Like, of course, you're not going to have like full level of control in two areas at once, but at least like you need to like click your hero to the next creeping camp or something like that. Just like standing here for like 10 seconds, that's not okay. That would be great. Hurricane Pike for repositioning. Yeah, that's always like a pretty good item on Arc Warden, just with extra range is also great. And now that your team has won the fight for you, you can go in here and hit that tower. Okay, this might sound weird, but I guess you could get something that burns mana. Yeah, Diffu, I guess, is what you're talking about, because that's the only thing that burns mana. Or I guess you could also talk about, what do you call it, Necro. But, yeah, like Necro at this stage of the game is not good. If you want to go Necro, you need to go for it early. Yeah, but Diffu, is it really good here? Yeah, you're playing as Medusa. Honestly, I wouldn't bother, honestly. Yeah, it's like a decent item. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. It's also like a decent against Slada, because he has pretty low mana pool. But I'm not sure about that item on Arc Warden. Yeah, maybe. But honestly, I actually really like this butterfly choice here. Yeah. You end up going Skadi if you're not wrong. Skadi is not that great here. Like, yeah, extra tankiness is nice, but it doesn't really do much in this game. Yeah, I feel like Defu is definitely a decent choice here. What do you call it? Hurricane Pike is good here. What else? No one going evasion, so you don't need MKB. Yeah, I would probably choose between Diffu and Hurricane Pike as the next item here. So you have Paladin Sword as neutral item. This is of course very good. And you TP your clone in the bottom lane. I like that a lot. That's a dangerous farm. You take it with your clone. And yeah, also putting that Mjolnir onto the creep. That's very good. And like MKB is also not that great against Dusa if she doesn't have a butterfly, because a big selling point of MKB is that it does magic damage, or at least the proc is magic damage, which is much better than physical damage, because typically they're only gonna have like 25% magic resistance, or maybe slightly more if it's like a pipe on the team. But they're gonna have much more reduction against physical. But for Medusa, half the damage she gets isn't getting reduced anyway because it goes into the mana shield. So MKB is not actually that great against mana shield because that big strength it has is not as much of a strength against Medusa. Yeah, but like the game is just going really well. You really won your lane, and your Pangler is also doing incredibly well, so to a certain extent it doesn't really matter too much what items you go for. But today is the itemization day, so I'll talk about the items regardless. So you take those objectives, and when you do this you want to be spamming your Spark Rays. Spark Rays is a really long range. You can put them like here and one like here, and this is going to make it much more difficult for Slada to get any sort of initiation. And you have full mana anyway, so there's no excuse here. Yeah, this Pang was a Smurf. Okay, he looks like he's playing really well here. He's doing really well, so makes sense. And yeah, definitely want to spam out those Spark Rays. Now you do it, so it's good. Also putting that on Medusa quite nice, and Medusa just sort of wandering off on her own. What is she doing? So you just keep working on those buildings. That's good. And maybe put that Mjolnir onto Pudge. So you do that, okay, good. And you kind of retreat here with your main hero, fight with your clone, that's good. Oh, by the way, I said this Arc Warden's name. I like calling it that since obviously it's easier. Yeah, I know that said this Arc Warden's name. Okay. So, right now, like if you had the I keep forgetting the name. If you had the Hurricane Pike, you could probably survive here. And it's also like a problem. You have this 7k gold, and I don't really think you need to save buyback at this point. You still have all the tier 2 towers, and don't have the greatest building damage, so I feel like you can buy out here. Yeah, Hurricane Pike is the item. And it's like a problem I have with this, career of here producing Dota content, is that I'm just really bad at names, and I keep forgetting these item names and hero names, and sort of stumbling over my words when I do that. I have this problem with all sorts of names, whether it's people's names or names of items in games, and pretty much the only item names I never forget is the item names in Dota 1. So I always know the Mask of Death and Zombie Mask and these kinds of items, but oftentimes I'm having trouble with these Dota 2 items. Yeah. Exactly, when I mentioned, I thought exactly about this fight. Yeah, indeed. So you're going for this Eye of Skadi, and like that's good for kiting and so on, but it's not really going to help you kite against Phantom Lancer, and doesn't really do much against Medusa. Like Skadi is more of an item you get against these sort of melee carries that have problems being kited. Like if you're playing a hero like Sven, for example, or if you're playing a hero where that heal reduction is very relevant, but that's not really the case here. Not very much heal on the enemy team. Okay, Phantom Lancer has a Heart of Tarask, but that's not that big of a deal. So you're doing Roshan and gets guard against like high region carries. Yeah, exactly. And that's not they don't really have much region here. There's like only Phantom Lancer with his heart. Other than that, there's no like region or heal or anything like that. Actually, they do have a mech, but you know, it's only a mech. Actually, let's actually rewatch that fight. Yeah, like Husker is a good example. Also, like slowing him down is quite useful. Okay, so you're teleporting out with your clone. I don't like that when you're just doing Roshan here. Like your clone should be in the fight here, and so you just get ganked. And I'm not really sure why you were here in the pit. Only the supports. But I guess that's an offlane punch, I guess. Or is it offlane Pugna and then position 4 punch, I guess. I thought that parchment is remembering Roche, there were 5 alive. Yeah, that move didn't really make sense. But also like the fact that he sent away the clone didn't help either. That was just like a disaster all around that fight. Like that's definitely like a bad move from was it? Yeah, okay, it was Pugna mid and then the Pangolier offlane. Okay. Didn't really pay too much attention to the other lanes in the early game. Okay. I just kind of assumed it was Pango mid lane because he was so much more farmed, but I guess it's just because he is Smurf. So now you're queuing up the MKB. Is there any evasion here? Not really, right? I guess like MKB is decent against Phantom Lancer because he has a lot of armor, but still it's like single target draw is not that great against Phantom Lancer. Nice hook here from Punch. Get the Phantom Lancer kill, and now you're 5 alive against 2 dead. They have buybacks, yes they do. Dracaro doesn't, but the Phantom Lancer has, which is more important, obviously. So right now, yeah, exactly. You summon the clone and send it to the top. I like that because you're always gonna spawn here in a second, and you can pressure the enemy while your team goes down here. So Slada forced to use BKB and still almost dead. And you don't want to be this far forward with the Arc Warden. Like you have to be so careful with your main hero. Arch has like no items, LMAO. Yeah, he's not very farmed considering how well the game went. But also like Punch's hero that's not very item dependent anyway. So Slada getting wrecked. And Slada's really having a sad game here. 0-11. So now the game is over. Okay, you walk up right to next to Medusa. Get stoned, okay. Bit unnecessary here, but doesn't matter. And now you're gonna finish out the game. So you played the early laning phase quite well. You got a good advantage here. Also partly was because the enemy team didn't really pressure you well enough. Then your farming in the early mid game was a bit. I could have been a bit better. You could have moved to the triangle earlier. Like even if you're not very good at clearing out the ancients, and you still do the other 2 camps, you can like being in the triangle means you're between 2 other lanes that you can easily farm. And yeah, Undying was extremely helpful. That's definitely a huge deal. Whenever you play these sort of vulnerable ranged carries like Arc Warden, like Drow, it's so helpful to have an Arc Warden. That just means the enemy can't really go on you, because they're just always going to lose against Undying. If they don't go on you, then you do a lot of damage from ranged. Yeah, with this bracket, within this bracket, people don't pressure enough, I think. That's definitely the case. It's definitely going to be harder to play these kinds of heroes when you get higher up. But also, like, Arc Warden is also like a really hard hero to play well. The thing is, he played well, but he was a bit more decisive in the game. If he was a bit more decisive, the game would have been easier for him. Yeah, exactly. A bit better farming patterns, so it's like being a bit safer with this main hero. There's like a couple of deaths there that were unnecessary. There was the Arc Warden game, but definitely like for your rank, you played that really well, and I definitely think if you keep at this hero, you can definitely climb more and gain more MMR with that hero, because he's can really farm really well. And in that bracket, as long as you just like you're able to farm well, you can be able to carry so many games. The next stream is on Friday, 7 PM CEST, so come join me there. We'll talk about proper mentality and mindset and how to avoid tilting and being toxic in Dota games, as well as, of course, analyzing the replays that you suggest in chat. So follow me on Twitch and subscribe to me on YouTube. And if you want more Arc Warden content, click on the video on the screen where we'll see how pro players play Arc Warden in the current patch. And Obelisk willing, I'll see you there.